Hello and welcome to the Weekly Scroll Podcast. My name is Ryan.
Meow.
You piece of shit. And today we are going to be going over 9 Lives to Valhalla from Gem Room Games. This is a Viking death metal, just
game.
brutal, frenetic. Yeah, fucking cats. It's cats. For those that don't know, I fucking hate cats. You know. It's not just cats. It's everything about cats. It's cat people. It's cat things.
I'm
it's
a cat
all
person.
the
I'm literally like, my name is the father of cats on everything.
And I ignore that for you because I love you. But yeah, so this game's about cats, which is fine. So
also shout out Gem Room Games.
Right?
I did enjoy this. This is really cool, but they also make this game that we're going to go over, I think, at some point, called High Magic Low Lives, that I love. It is it's like I haven't gotten to play it yet, but I'm very into the concept. We'll get there.
Yeah, no, you sent that to me, and it's definitely one that I'm excited to jump into. Well, let's get into let's talk about Gem Room Games a little bit. So, Gem Room Games, 9 Lives to Valhalla. Gem Room Games is Kaylee Lowry and Dan Phipps. Some of the other games that you might have seen from them before we hop into 9 Lives to Valhalla. Duckborg was recently on Kickstarter, if I remember correctly. Which you can buy Duckborg now on itch if you want. High Magic Low Lives is out there. There's the Weaver's Observatory, which I actually have. Ooh. Look, now I got a shelf close enough I can pull it. I got that, which is an adventure for tunnel goons. They've done a lot of great stuff. And this 9 Lives to Valhalla was a Kickstarter funded project. It funded in. Well, I'm not going that far back in the updates. But it's we've had it for a while. It had 594 backers for $8,396 for a game about Viking cats, which is pretty cool.
A zine.
A zine funded for almost $9,000, which is crazy. But honestly, I dig it. Despite my dislike for cats, which I'm not going to bring up too many times as we go through the episode, because it'll be the whole thing because it's all cats. We'll just ignore that. So yeah, that is Gem Room Games, and that's 9 Lives to Valhalla. What's your thoughts? What's your opinion? One line.
I like how there's there's only in one occasion in which you roll dice, and then anything else in this game is like you're just role playing a cat, a Viking cat. I'm like, oh, okay, that's good. I like that. So
yeah, I completely agree. I think that's my favorite part. I think this. Yeah, we talked about.
I agree.
Yeah, a little bit before stream, we talked about how this is like a very simple but a very heady game at the same time. You know what
it reminds me of?
What's that?
Acid mages.
A little bit,
yeah. In not in what's going on, but in the way that it's incredibly lightweight, and there's really only rules for this one instance, and everything else is just like you guys just hanging out and role playing.
Yeah, no, I completely see that. I think, yeah, one being magic, one being murder. But yeah, completely hey,
you
see
can
that.
still murder with magic. No one says you can't murder with magic.
100% true. That is absolutely true. Why don't we? I'm also going to point out one thing that I really love that Gem Room Games did before we hop into that, because I'm going to forget if I don't until later. So in the original printing of 9 Lives to Valhalla, first of all, we'll get to the art. But there is an issue on page 28 where it's got this little mouse buddy here. There's no text here, but there's supposed to be.
Oh.
Yeah, issue with the printing. So you know what Gem Room's game did? You know what they did? At their own cost, they sent a sticker. Like, if I actually peel it off of this, I'm not going to. They sent a way to fix it with instructions on how to put it into the book if you would like. At no cost to the backers at all. They just said, hey, sorry, we fucked up. We immediately found a solution and we sent it out. Sorry.
That's a great fix. That's an amazing
fix. Fucking awesome. Yeah. Place this sticker on the upper right corner for exact placement, blah, blah, blah. But close enough is good too. Really, really love that. There's been a lot of, I'll say there's been a number of times where this would have been an easy fix for a lot of people and a lot of projects, and they chose to just be shitty instead of doing something as good as this. So, hey, Gym Room Games, this was fantastic. Really, really, really appreciated this. Good fucking job. That is how you treat your backers.
Great fix.
So why don't we just hop into this? It's a short game. We'll have a short episode. Yeah. I say, and then we end in 3 hours.
We can't because the grocery store is going to be closed by then, Ryan.
There we go. 9 lives to Valhalla. First of all, right off the bat, if you're in podcast land, I highly recommend at least going to the fucking itch page and looking at the art, because black, red, and white, perfect in my opinion. It's really, really very good. So stylistically, good. It's fantastic, and like the cool, like everything is like this stippling on like this. Not quite black, but like this textured black, like black paper background. It's like an almost construction papery background that's gorgeous. Very cool. And the reds in it are so vibrant. It's crazy. Every time I looked at it, I was just like, am I on the wrong screen? But it's such a vibrant red the whole way through. And then the style of the cat drawings with like the halftone shading with like the red that's just like a little bit off of like the things, it's so fucking good. The art throughout this entire thing is amazing. I like the poses the cats are in this whole time because it looks like actual cat poses, but then they just have weapons or armor, you know, like it looks really good. I was very like, I mean, it's a very short zine and it has like incredibly high quality art, and there's like a really good amount of art too. Yeah, how short it's almost every. It's like, I mean, every page, every other page, there is like almost a full page piece of art. You know, it's like, oh wow, it's a lot. And again, it's fire. The red just pops everything off the page. I mean, and again, like, I love that the red is just slightly off of the. Yeah, it's slightly outside the line. So much more. Yeah. It's so good. It's so fucking good. So the cover has these 3 cats, one with two swords, one with a Viking helmet and an axe on his belt, and one that's just a skull with a halo, and I love it. I love that one. I hate cats. This page right here, the second page that actually has the Gym Room Games on it, might be my favorite piece. Like, even though I hate cats, this giant one. Gonna talk about it the whole time. Like, you specifically was like, I'm not gonna talk about the whole time. It's not the whole time yet. This page too. Love this giant piece. Like, just the red on the horns, the face. It's so good, dude. I have a couple other pieces that are in contending for favorite, which I'll point out as we go. I mean, they're all good is the thing. They're all really fucking good. Anyway, all the way through, it's basically that black, like, kind of construction paper feel background. Like, I feel like I can. It looks like I can touch it every time I look at it. It's so fucking good. Yeah, it's really nice. The thing is, in the actual book, it kind of comes through like a tiny bit, but it's nothing like the PDF, and that's fine. And the only way that it could is if it was actually printed on like that thick LFOSR cardstock. Right. That would make this pop. But anyway, so that's that. So 9 lives to Valhalla. The age of man is over. Now dawn the age of beasts. Here's the thing. It's like 29 pages long, and yet it still has a table of contents and bookmarks. It's bookmarked. Yeah, I did notice. I was like, oh, wow, they bookmarked the zine? That is what's up. They've been watching the show. Should be fucking default. I don't understand. Like, most programs automatically do it for you. I don't understand how PDFs come that is interesting because they do. You know? Yeah. It's not a hyperlink, but again, it's 28 pages. It's a zine. Don't care so much about hyperlinks and things that are less than 30 pages because you can literally just flip 2 pages and be halfway through the zine. But the bookmarks help a ton. So here is the story. I'm going to read this whole bit here. And because it's important. And absolutely. Despite my dislike of cats, I do really enjoy the story of this. So here we go. It has been an age since the last of man drew breath. Now only stone and steel monuments remain, half buried and twisted. The land is broken, the seas are cold, and the nights are dark. Strange and vicious creatures roam the earth. Dogs still hold the love of the leash in their hearts and would use their strange magics to rebuild the world in man's long-dead tyranny. Glorious death and outrageous fortune await those who would stop them. The blood of ancient warriors flows in your veins. Your movements are precise and silent. You walk in darkness, seeing and unseen. Fang and claw, blade and bow, might and magics will fell your foes like wheat under a scythe. You are a cat, sworn enemy of man and dog. Your only comrades are your fellow hunters and death itself. A seat amongst the world's mightiest warriors is kept for you in the drinking halls of Valhalla, headed by the 𝗟𝗓𝗏 Pantheon. Guided personally by death, your merry band will leave a wake of ruin, ending only at the hands of a truly worthy foe. On the next page, it says, 9 lives stalk the earth. 9 times you will die with sword and paw. 9 times you will be carried by Valkyries to the gates of Valhalla, where no man has tread. 9 times you will be found worthy and granted a blessing of your forebears. 9 times you will cast a wake of blood and carnage upon the blighted earth. 9 lives to Valhalla.
Like I could, that's just a metal song, you know.
It is. It's good. Like it's clever. It's clever. If you're a cat person, I get it for this. That's cool. You couldn't make this game as dogs. You know what I mean? You really could. So, how to play 9 lives to Valhalla. Assemble and choose one amongst you to make the mantle of death. So, long story short, summarizing a little bit of this, death, all caps, is the GM.
Always all caps. The entire time, all the way through. Death.
Always all caps. One person plays the GM, which is death, and the rest take on various death metal Viking cats. So you need dice, which are 4, 6, 8, and 10, and 12 is what you need, and other stuff to play a game with. Each player, except death, makes a cat, etc., etc. We'll get to that. Each cat has 4 attributes. You have brutality, viciousness, cunning, and ferocity. And you get dice associated with each of those. Cats are peerless warriors, and the players representing a cat should be allowed to narrate their actions. This is... We'll get to that in a little bit. In the dark times, each death may die. In these dark times, even death may die should a cat draw steel against scythe, which is an interesting mechanic we'll get to in just a little bit. So, tone. 9 lives to Valhalla is a vortex of blood, teeth, violence, and death. It is also a game. Before playing, pick a tone, decide amongst yourself like what you want and don't want from the game. Don't worry about historical context. Right-wing douchebag fascist fucks that take Norse mythology and turn it into their bullshit are assholes. And don't worry about historical accuracy. That's basically what it says. Yeah. And then
best rule. Yeah, I know best rule.
We get to the only rule.
It's really the only rule.
I read this thing like 2 or 3 times to make sure that I wasn't wrong on this. And we'll probably spend a good amount of time on these like 4 little paragraphs here before we get to the rest of the game. But this is the only rule in the entire game. Realistically, anytime dice are rolled, something must die. I love it. I love it so much it hurts a little bit. Yeah. Even when all appears calm, hidden foes lurk in dark shadows and behind nefarious disguises. If a known foe or hidden assassin threatens a cat, the cat's player rolls 2 attributes determined either by the weapon they are using or the context of their actions. The player declares the attributes they are using and rolls the dice, reporting the highest result rolled. Death then rolls 2 dice, with larger dice representing greater threats. Foes with special abilities may get additional dice depending on the cat's plan of attack. And if the cat rolls the highest die, whatever foe attempted to kill the cat suffers an instant brutal death. If death rolls higher, the foe was successful and the cat dies. If the roll is a tie, then both creatures slay each other in the maelstrom of battle. That's the whole rule.
It's so fucking dumb and brilliant. It's such a good idea.
It's dumb and brilliant in ways that, like, as I keep reading it, like, I fall in love more and more with, because, like I said, in a very weird, interesting way, this is a very, I want to say, like, intellectual, like, game philosophical, like, kind of thing, because it never even, like, at no point anywhere in this game does it really talk about movement. Does it talk about skill checks? Does it talk about anything? So, like, it never even says anything like the GM will make that up. It just doesn't address it at all.
Yeah. I think, like, I really love zines that are like that like leave a lot up to you and your table. Just be like, I mean, that's not what this is. And if you guys want to like add stuff in, that's great. But also, like, the implied rule is that, like, that doesn't matter, you know? And it's like,
it just doesn't
you can't
matter.
jump off a 4-story building. You're a cat. It would kill you, you know? Like, yeah. You want to climb up on top of this thing? Yeah, you're a cat. You do it, you know? Yeah. Really very great minimal structure. And it's nice. We often go over games and we're like, there's always a what's an RPG section, or like there's rules for a lot of stuff. But this is a good game for someone who plays a lot of games. It's like, you know what, you guys just take it easy this time, you know? Yeah. Just if you're gonna roll, something's gonna die. Anything other than that, just figure it out.
Yeah. That's the interesting thing about this too, is it's such a light game, but because it doesn't have all the rest of that, I feel like people that only do a lot of like trad, like especially 5e, would really have a difficult time parsing this, I think, to just be like, but how do we do like these other 18 things? And it's like, who gives a shit? Like,
who cares?
Just kill stuff. Like, that's literally the point of the game, is to get a glorious death and eventually get to Valhalla. Like, why do you need to know? Like, that's it. So I don't know. I really, really enjoyed a lot. I really think that it's really clever in how light it is. Yeah. And it's also incredibly easily adaptable. We talked about that. Like, if you don't want to play a cat, you just play people. Same thing with Mouse Ritter. Like, if you really are that up your own ass that you can't just be a mouse for a little bit in a way that doesn't really matter, like, play it as people. That's fine. You could play this as people too. That's fine. But like, I'll play this game and I'll be a fucking cat. I don't care. So
I think that, oh damn, what was I going to say? I had a really good thing. I don't remember, but we'll keep going.
Yeah. Also, the art on above it, the guy with the cape and the you know, the hatchet, it's all fire. I'm gonna say every single fucking piece, but this one here too, that's got this like adorable cute little fucking cat face, but it's holding like a giant fucking sword. Great piece.
We gotta get to the spear guy. The spear guy is in my top 2, you know?
The other thing too is, like, who did this fucking art? The only people listed in the entire book are the 2 people from Gym Room, so I can only assume it's one of them. There's no artist listed, there's no anything listed. The only thing listed is Gym Room Games and their 2 names, and that's it. So
good job. So cats. Cats, all players except for Death take on the role of a cat, wandering the blasted mortal plane, seeking tremendous fortune, the still beating heart of their hated nemesis, and glorious death at the hand of a worthy foe. While in the first of your 9 lives, Death has guided you to the nucleus of battle. Each cat begins the game with a name, a hated nemesis, a favored god of the pantheon, a mastered weapon of their choosing, and a blessing of Valhalla. Now we're going to take us through character creation. The first is name, fur color, and description. Very self-explanatory. The next is hated nemesis. A craven antagonist from your past has done you a terrible wrong, and worse, denied you the satisfaction of death. Your fur stands on end. Suspicion becomes certainty. I cannot read tonight. Your nemesis is close. You feel the blood in your veins gently pulling you to the end. This once and for all. Or, God, what is wrong with me? Gently pulls you to end this once and for all. I know what words mean, Ryan. I swear. Describe your hated nemesis to the table, naming their transgressions for all to hear. Basically, you have a nemesis that did you wrong and denied you death. Whenever they're nearby, you know that they're nearby. Your blood runs cold. Your hair stands on end. I could have just described this instead of tripping over reading the whole time. Yeah, that's a hated nemesis.
Real quick, Callie from Gym Room Games, hope I'm saying it right. She did the art, or they did the art. So it's fucking awesome.
Great art. Amazing.
Despite how I feel about cats, I will say every one of these is awesome and brutal and cute as fuck. So good fucking job.
There's also so much of it, you know?
There's so much. But like also like if you make the game and then you get to do the art for your own game, do as much as you fucking want, you know? You're not paying for it.
No, it's great.
I mean, just in your own time. Yeah.
Favored god. 5 gods rule over all cat kind through devotions or through mighty deeds. Each cat brought by death to fight, die, and fight again is overseen by one such god. These are the Panthera Pantheon. In choosing a god, you are given 4 dice to assign to your brutality, viciousness, cunning, and ferocity attributes. Yeah, you have 4 attributes. Like we said, it's brutality. That's like your vigor, hardiness, your bod. Viciousness, which is your like more dexterous, fine, precise action. Cunning, which is your, it's actually very apt. Cunning things, machinations, treachery, anticipation, or ferocity, which is your reaction, awareness, fury, instinct. Funny, I'm glad they laid this out because brutality and ferocity, me, I'm like, those are very close, you know?
Yeah. I mean, I guess I mean brutality. I imagine brutality as like when you do something, you do it brutal in a brutal way. Yeah, and ferocity is more like an attitude that you have as opposed to like the action itself. That's how I kind of viewed it, and I think that's how it's like explained a little bit in the book. If that's how you, I don't know if you read it the same way.
I did definitely read it the same way, but when I first was reading through, I'm like, those feel close for me. Like not in how they're defined in the game, but how the words are used outside of the game. Maybe that's just like the degradation of the English language, though, and I'm just not as good at speaking as I should be.
Gotta be a gooder speaker.
Good speaking. Yeah. So we have the 5 gods. You have a favorite?
I do enjoy Leo. I think it's a good one to talk about. It's not my favorite. I don't know if I have a favorite one. Probably 𝗟𝗓𝗪, actually. It's probably my favorite.
Okay.
She this is the snow leopard, twin of Pardis. Pardis is an earlier god. Made a homeland for all cats by blessing the mountains with blinding snow, bitter wind, and winters of complete darkness. Her folk were drawn to place a thought unlivable, compelled to seek out veiled magics and places of ancient power. 𝗟𝗓𝗪's witches speak in riddles, but offer weird and eldritch power to those who can suffer their company. Dig that one.
Very cool.
What about you?
I was going to go with 𝗟𝗓𝗪. The jaguar stalks across the night sky, wandering far from Valhalla's warm halls each night with the moon in his mouth. 𝗟𝗓𝗪 sees those who travel far from home, shipbuilders and sailors, all who have forgotten the comfort of their hearths. 𝗟𝗓𝗪's temples are hidden, their pontiffs revealing themselves rarely. Secret god. Secret traveler god.
What I dig about this, and it reminds me, does this give you like Ryutama or like Red Giant vibes a little bit?
A little bit, yeah, totally.
Yeah. So what the thing is, character creation super easy. You pick your god, and when you pick your god, it gives you
your dice spread.
Your dice spread, yeah. You get so for 𝗟𝗓𝗪, you have D4, D6, D6, D12, and for 𝗟𝗓𝗪, I would have D4, D4, D8, D12. So I have to pick of those 4 dice. I assign one of each to brutality, viciousness, cunning, and ferocity. So by picking the god you favor, you get the dice that you actually get to put into your characters, and it's different for each one, which is a great mechanic. I really dig that a lot.
Yeah, they're very, very fair spreads of like what dice you can get. Like all of them have like, they have a couple good ones for like Pardis, the first one's like really very balanced. It's like D6, D6, D8, D8. And then yours is like almost the opposite then, where it's like, no, you gave up 2 to be weak, and 2 are like D8, D12, you know?
I didn't do the math for it, but are all of them like, what, 6 and 6, 18? Are all of them 28 points?
They all have 4 dice.
𝗟𝗓𝗪 has 28. Well, I mean, it doesn't matter if they're 4 dice. If you have like...
It was a joke.
Oh yeah. 6 and 6 and 8, that's 12. And yeah, what's 12 plus 16? Yeah, that's 28. So it's all 28. So it's 5 different ways to put 28 together with 4 dice. Smart, clever. I like it. Yeah. So it's a spread where you get the same number of points all the way through. Even though it's curious though, because clearly, like, if you take averages, I'm curious, and I'm not looking at it in my brain in a way that is going to math well right now. If you have 28 total possible points in your maxes, I don't think that still equates to possible points as far as averages go. Like if you have 2d4s, that's 2 points versus like 2d6s. Like, I'm curious, and I'm not going to sit here long enough to do the math for that. Regardless, I think it's clever.
Get in the comments.
And here's your spear boy.
The spear boy. I like the jumping cat with the spear. Yeah. Well, it's on my top 2 of art pieces, so
it's such a good piece. Yeah, it's got the cape. It's just that red, man. Let me tell you what, like that red makes this entire zine artistically for me. All the art is great, but the red is such a vibrant color that just pops off everything. It's insane. It's so good.
I agree.
So mastered weapon. Every cat is a master of a style of weapon. Choose a style that embraces your nature. Panthera may bless you with an additional mastery or further refine a style you've already mastered even greater heights. Name and describe your weapon as they are an extension of you. A cat may use a weapon they have not yet mastered, but is likely to break under their unbridled might after a single use. Again, I love that. Outside of that, when you roll things die, there's like no rules, and even that says it's likely to snap after a single use. It never says, there's no technical jargon. It never says any weapon after, you know what I mean? Like,
you
it just
roll
says
1 and your weapon breaks. Yeah,
none of that. It just says it's probably not gonna last long. You're not good at it. So there are a number of weapon types: dual weapons, single weapons, great weapons, bows, fang and claw, and magics. Each one you roll 2 dice for. So for example, dual weapons, you do brutality and viciousness. Great weapons, you do brutality and ferocity. So you already picked your god, right? You get a weapon mastery as well. Which one would you pick? And we can just go over those.
Which weapon would I pick of these? Which one do you think that I would pick?
I think we would both pick the same one in this situation. But which one?
You would also pick dark magics?
Fuck yeah, I'm picking dark magics.
I'm using
I know you're the magic boy, but I'm the edgelord. So if
master.
it's dark magic, like, of course I'm going to pick the one that has like just a skull for a head, and I picked the god that had a witch and shit. Yeah, of course I picked that one. So dark magics employ cunning and ferocity, piercing energies and dooming hexes, madness and despair, effective against tricky and magic foes. So the interesting thing about each weapon is it gives you the 2 dice that you would roll for, the 2 stats, the attributes you would roll for, a little bit of flavor, and it also gives you 2 foes that it's good for. So I think there are 5 total foes. We'll get to that in a little bit, like giant and tricky and magic. Each have different things that you can do for each one. But that is basically how the weapons work, is that's what you get for it. And then what about blessings? Tell me about blessings.
Blessings of Valhalla. They will sing songs about you, O companion of death, and the Panthera sing with them also. Whatever they say. Basically, this is just like little. This is like a bonus, like little thing that you can get, and some of them are like, roll an additional d6 against tricky foes. Very cool, very like mechanical bonuses. But some are like a little bit different. One of mine that I enjoy is. The very, very last one is Blessing of the Gifted Breath of Mankind's Babe. You may speak as men once spoke. On exactly one occasion, you may issue a simple command to a dog and they must obey. Like, you can speak as men once spoke.
The cat does the thing.
I like the mechanical ones because I feel like in this game because you start with a blessing, but you can also receive them as you go. Like the very mechanical ones are very cool to like hand out as they go, but like picking those like very dramatically titled, like the blessing of Babista's fur, your fur is marked with weird and shifting darkness. Roll an additional d6 when striking from the darkness. Like very thematic stuff I like for starting the character out. But yeah, there's some really cool ones, and they all have really cool names, Blessings of the Cold Flame, Blessings of Bone and Keratin. Yeah, very cool little mechanic for making your cat Viking.
Well, the thing is, this isn't just like a little bonus. This is also this is advancement. This is your entire character advancement. So like every time you die a glorious death, you get
that's correct.
Blessing.
I did skip that part.
Yeah, there's other times where you can get blessings. Like if you there's a hidden nemesis thing we'll get to later. But I, like you just said, like I love that these are not just mechanical, although you get like 8 or 9 of them. So like it's not a bad idea to take like an extra like increase your bonus size.
I'm definitely taking a bunch of mechanical ones, you know. I'm just probably starting with a more thematic one.
Oh, for sure. Yeah. But like some of the base ones, like Blessing of Leg and Fang increases your brutality by 1 die size to a max of D12. So if you start with a D4, theoretically after like 3 deaths, you could take your brutality all the way to the top if that's what you want to do. Like if you really want to max stats, you can, and that's fine. But I, like you said too, though, like so the first, it basically is stats for all 4 things. So you can raise all 4 stats by 1. Then the next batch lets you increase additional. There's no advantage or disadvantage in this. It's pretty much just like you get another D6, like good guys, bad guys, whatever. So the next batch of blessings is a D6 against the different types of foes with different weapon masteries. And then we get the fun flavor ones like what you're talking about. And they're also good. I think it's such a good spread of possibilities. And the way that you can gear your character is great because you get how many are there? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22. There's like 23 or 24 blessings. That's a shitload of options.
It's quite a bit. Yeah.
It's crazy.
There's some really good ones too. Yeah, I would play this. This sounds like a lot of fun to play, you know?
It's great.
It's really like you die 5 or 6 times, you know, and you have like 5 or 6 blessings. I mean, that's pretty good, you know?
Yeah. Well, the
point where you're just annihilating.
If you look at the adventure, and we don't go over adventures on stream, I might flip to it just for the dope art and stuff. But the adventure for the book, the Wreck of the Murderess, it actually says it's dope. It actually says to start with a veteran warband, so you'll roll 2d4, take the highest number, and you've died that many times already. So you start with that many blessings. So like less deaths that you get for total, but more blessings you get to start with.
Very
yeah, super dope. Couple more great full page art pieces.
The cat wearing the skull as like hat.
It's so I don't know. And then the next one where it's got like whether it's blood or dark magics or just like the shading on I think it's just the shading on the claws because it's a weapon. I think all weapons are red in this with its dumb fucking cat face on it. Like
one of the weapon types is claw. There is like a
fang and claw. Fang and claw. Yeah. So that's dope that that the hand is even got that on it too. But yeah. Glorious Death. Love this. So those who count death amongst their companions are given ample opportunity to kill. The true measure of cat is in their glorious deaths. Deaths with sword in paw and unflinching of nerve, courageous but not foolish, cunning but not cowardly, and at the hands of a foe worthy to strike you down. Cats who walk with death do not die ingloriously. Therefore, any death your cat faces must be glorious. If you are offered a death that does not belong in the sages, feel free to request another. So you can literally say, I want to die cooler, let me die cooler. And it says in the beginning, you get to narrate your deaths and stuff like that. This is such a narrative heavy, like you want to play this with a group of people that are going to invest heavily and go like
absolutely
balls to the wall, goofy the whole time. Yeah. The first 8 glorious deaths will see you carried by the Valkyries to the gates of Valhalla, where you will be found worthy of blessing, but still living. You will be returned. Cat should write down the cause of each of their deaths and the blessings they receive at Valhalla's gate. That's dope. And what about what do we got going on with the yeah?
A cat's final death at the conclusion of their 9th life brings to a close their part in maintaining an endless cycle of bloodshed. When even the fates conspire against them and wisdom bade them flee, a cat who remained a companion of death has earned their place in the drinking halls of Valhalla. Sick. By the way, just sick opening. There's a lot of writing in this where I'm just like, this is cool to read. You know?
Yeah.
It's like good,
And
like
then you just go,
infusion
oh
of
yeah,
like
it's murder cats. Yeah.
yeah, it's murder cats. So, but yeah, embrace your cat's final death with good humor. Even if no enemies fell to their sword and the night is still young, if you are drinking, toast to their memory and invent a tall tale of their heroism. Leave their shell of a body in such a state as to strike fear into any dog who crosses it. Death should give the cat over to the Valkyries for their final journey to Valhalla with dignity and grace. Players whose cat has left the mortal plane for the final time and may continue to play in a number of ways. They may alight upon death as a raven, personifying foes and providing outrageous details to make the inevitable viscera more visceral. Amazing. Fantastic. They may create a new cat and begin a cycle anew. A cat whom death should soon invite to meet their new siblings of destruction. Very cool. You can come back as a cat. You can play as a raven and just describe everything worse and grosser. Great way to deal with death.
Yeah. I just love that the whole thing, it's not like so many trad games where it's like, you know, let's be honest, in 5e you don't die unless the GM wants you to, because they're just going to fudge rolls or it doesn't fit in their story. This literally says just like, I mean, the only rule basically is like something has to die every time you roll. You're gonna die a bunch. You get to do it like 9 times. Die fun, come back with a blessing, and even when you die, you can come back as something else. Like it's so I don't know.
Yeah,
it's
I mean,
fun.
the lack of rules does make it really open ended. Like, yeah, you can come back as something else. Just tell me what you want to do to come back, and we'll fit it into this weird, ultra-violent metal narrative. Where
were you? Where did you leave off?
Because I lost you. You're gonna tell me about playing death.
Oh, fuck. Yeah, sick. So playing death. So this is basically the how to GM section, right? So the player who chooses to take on the role of death represents the foes and the few allies along the way. Death should feel free to speak directly to the cats, ideally through strange portent or cryptic ravens.
Nice.
And cats, true to their nature, should be expected to ignore death's guidance and seek worthy opponents. Death is a constant companion. And they should describe everything. This in a very flavorful, fun way. It says, "Do the shit GM does. You're the bad guys. You're the world. You're the NPCs. You're everything." That's fun. But there is a part down here. It is possible that another player will request a different death, either because they have already seen a similar one, or because they would be ashamed to face a Panther in other circumstances. Take this in stride and offer another. So literally, just like, who cares? It's supposed to be a fun, cool death. So just let them have fun and be cool in death. And then this last part is fun though too. Brave or foolish, cats may turn their claws towards death itself. If they are worthy, death may die, and the role passes to the cat who performed the killing stroke. Death is now free to take on the life of a mortal and begin their own pursuit of Valhalla. So you can just be like, you know what, fuck it, I'm fighting death, and have a roll off, and if you kill death, you are now death, aka you become the GM, and then the GM can like roll up a cat, and not even roll up a cat, you don't even roll it, but like you can just do the cat and go on.
I do really like that, because I and maybe always the GM forever and always. Like I really like so much about this game, and I'm interested to see how the rolling 2 dice mechanic plays out regularly. Like I feel fine about it, but I'm interested in actually trying it. But I feel like playing this game, if you're in the middle of your tabletop journey, you know, you're not new, but maybe you've only been playing like Call of Cthulhu and 5e, or even just OSE, like this would be a great game to try and be like, hey, yeah, nothing matters. Like you guys are gonna play Viking cats, none of it's serious. You can hand off being the game master, maybe even mid-session, by just somebody killing you and them becoming the death, you know? Like it's absolutely, I very much enjoy this.
To touch on something you said, and we talked about a little bit earlier, like this is one of the things I love about this game is like anyone can pick it up and play it. It's so simple. Like it really is. But really, like if you, I don't know how douchey this is going to sound. If you play a lot of games and you know a lot about game mechanics, this game becomes like exponentially more interesting, because of how all of the unspoken shit that's not there at all. And that just it just gets me, because like so many fucking games feel like they have to over-explain fucking everything, and it's like 99 out of 100 times I can tell you this is not going to be someone's first game. Don't give me a how to do this section. Don't give me a how to do that section. We all know how all of that shit works, and your random indie game like doesn't need all of that shit like at all. Just give me a game, and that's exactly what this one does. Like it literally just gives you the game as it's going to be played, with no fluff, plenty of like fluff and fur and stuff, but like, you know what I mean, like none of the bullshit that it's just like we've read a million times. Like, and I really love that about this, like a lot. And it's fucking 28 pages and half of it's art. We're already almost done.
This is the other art piece that's like in my like it's so crazy good.
Yeah, top 2, top 3 easy. Yeah just the god, like so for those in podcast land, it's a full page of just a cat skull like floating above like a caped body with like a red halo surrounding it, and again it's got this just gorgeous texture to the entire thing and this vibrant red, and it's just beautiful. Again, the art throughout this entire thing is beautiful. Do you want to do foes, or you want me to hit foes?
Foes. The age of man has ended, but any other creature, great or small, real or imagined, may stand between cats and their ultimate goal. Yeah, Death may prefer to plan their foes ahead of time, assign dice and qualities in advance. Death may also choose what feels appropriate in the moment. That's me. Assign dice and qualities in context and random chance. Whomst among you has the courage to judge? Each foe has 2 dice associated with it. It may be giant, armored, tricky, and or magic and quality. Smaller dice. I was watching you count in your hands. I was wondering where I was going. Smaller dice are reserved for meeker foes. Larger dice for more lethal villains. Foes with 1 or more unique qualities gain the ability to roll additional dice, making them particularly dangerous. The cats who face them would do well to utilize a judicious plan of attack. Each quality allows the foe to roll an additional 6-sided die, unless the cat who seeks to destroy them is using a specific nature.
So again, I know you said you didn't read the adventure, but what's interesting about the adventure is it does have reminders on the side, little boxes here. I literally have it right here. I don't know what the fuck I'm doing, like why I didn't just pull it right here. But again, we don't go over adventures, but we'll show it real quick. There's reminders with when you see different armor types in the adventure for the first time. It says that cats do not use viciousness, or for this foe specifically, will have an extra d6 reminder to you, reminder to the players, everything. And I really like that about the way that they set up the adventure.
Very cool.
The reminders are out, so that was really cool.
Yeah, also a great example of writing an adventure for your game and employing the mechanics you use in the adventure. It's just like it's funny. It's funny. Recently, I've been rereading through old stuff because we've said that several times. I've really said it before, and I'm like, oh, wait, when do I employ this rule in this game? And it's not in the adventure. But yeah, so there are a lot of foes, and I think my favorite thing, just right out the gate, is under giant foes. It has coyotes and dragons next to each other.
Because honestly, if it's bigger than a cat, who cares how big it is?
Yeah, it's big. I mean, it is. It's bigger than a cat. So, yeah, that was genuinely my favorite part of all this. I was like, coyotes, dragons.
But they're all really good at, like, the armored one has a plate of knights or a crab. The tricky one has a hummingbird or hidden assassins. Like, I love the dichotomy. Exactly.
It makes sense though. You're like, oh, okay. Like, I can see how both of those things fall under like tricky foes, you know?
Yeah, absolutely. Just picking one of them. The giants.
Let's do magic foes. Wizards of all kind, our best match with unalloyed wrath. If a foe is magic, and the attack is not ferocity. I don't know why I can't say that word. Then roll an additional 6 sided. So pretty much each one has like if the attack is not this thing, roll an additional d6, like you the death.
4 types of foes, and each one has a stat. Like if you don't roll a specific stat against them, then they get an extra d6 against you. And I love that as like a really interesting way to do advantage throughout this entire thing. Since you're using d4, d6, d8, d12, you're already rolling 2 dice, just taking the highest, getting to throw another d6 in there. It's not too high, it's not too low, it's an average of 3. Like, it's sometimes it will give you like a 6 or whatever, and that'll be good for you. But it could roll a 6, and then you could have a d12 anyway. So like, I love, again, the simplicity and complexity of the dice mechanic, because you're now doing a dice pool of 3 potentially different dice for different reasons. Like, it's so good. And you could maybe roll 4, because if you have like a specific weapon one and you get to roll another like, I don't know, it's got so much, again, complexity in the simplicity.
I would love to play this.
Yeah, let's fucking do it.
Yeah, great.
All right.
I'm not going to read the adventure though, so now that I know we're going to play it.
I didn't read enough to really know what's going on. I skimmed it so I could understand it for the exact same reason. I hate reading adventures because I really want someone to play them, to run it for us.
Yeah, sure.
So I do love this. I do love a nemesis revealed. This is really neat.
Tell me about the nemesis revealing itself.
Should a singular foe kill each cat at the table? Long story short, if it TPKs, right? You all come back, but that cat, that thing that killed you, now becomes a nemesis to all of you, right? And the name is whispered upon the wind. And then all of you should pause, take a moment, come up with a bunch of like legends and stories and stuff of this like insane foe, this nemesis, right? The cat who slays the nemesis eventually gets a blessing right on the spot. You don't even have to die to get a blessing.
Nice.
You get a blessing immediately for killing this foe that like TPK'd the party previously. And it's also got a dog.
It's so funny because it's got this little like Frenchie at the
fucking
bottom.
Frenchie.
It's the least intimidating dog they could have picked.
What I love too is on its little jacket, like its cape, it's got like some embroidery or pin or something. It's a leash. And it's in red. And I love that so much. It's the leash that they still, capital T, capital L, the leash, which is still what they have in their heart. And it's the fucking embroidery over the heart. Like, cracks me the fuck up. Such a great little detail. I don't know. I love it. Oh, another full page piece here of this archery cat.
Crazy amount of art for how, I mean, because we're almost done. There's a few pages left, but I think it's mainly treasures after this. I can't, and there's one
pretty much.
Oh, and merchants. Yeah, but like,
the merchants are cool.
So much art in this zine.
Again, if you don't have to pay for it with anything but your time, that, you know, artists that become game makers, like, I envy them so much. You know what I mean? So it's it must be nice, you know. So treasures are cool. Did you have one that you really loved? I'm
gonna be honest. No, I don't remember. So
okay. Well, so treasures.
I feel like I laughed at a few of them. Go ahead. Yeah, go ahead.
Because they're all great. They can all be traded to merchants or other strangers met, and a player must declare their intent to use an item before rolling dice if that roll would be affected. That's basically it. Well, some of the ones that I really liked even just the vial of man's blood.
That's a very funny
glass vial with human blood, drink to improve your cunning. And I'm like, ooh, cats are like, oh, these cunning fucking human, this man. That's great. But the catnip pouch was also great too. A dried herb with strange but pleasurable effects. Burn it to improve your ferocity by 1 die size for 1 roll. Another way that they do fun mechanics in this is just the increase of die sizes as opposed to more dice and stuff too, which is really neat. So like increase 1 die size for 1 roll is a really cool way to just be like, okay, bump that d6 to a d8. Maybe it'll help you a little bit, you know, statistically, like 0.3, but like it's cool. I really dig it. And what was the other one that I really liked a lot? There's a lot on this page too. It's literally like 3 pages of them.
I like the rumors of the outside world. Ghosts are trapped in one place with few opportunities to learn about life beyond their hauntings. It's cruel to lie, but they will never know you did.
Right. Piece of art with like a grasshopper in it. And then what page are we on? Oh, we're almost into there. And then we get to so there's a ton of those. Again, there's pages of those. What I really like is the things that you need a lot of, you really do get a lot of. Like there's pages and pages of blessings, pages and pages of treasures, a lot of really interesting things. But the things you don't really need a ton of, you don't really get. Like there's not a roll table for cat names. There's not a roll table for cat fur colors. It's just says pick a name, pick a fur color, like just go for it. And I really like that.
If you want to make your own blessings, it's so simple. Like a lot of the mechanic stuff's taken care of, but like for whatever narratively happens at your table, if you want to be like, yeah, you now have the blessing of snakes or whatever. If you have a snake driven adventure, it gives you something or rather. Point being, like, very clever, very simple and clever, and great game.
Yeah. Super easy. The merchants are really neat. I really like these. So basically, not all who wander Meow Guard, which like Midgard, and it cracked me up. I think it's the first time it said Meow Guard.
I think it is too.
Seek to kill every cat. Some are NPCs, but they are all fighters too, which is really cool. Some of them, which one's the one I really liked a lot? There was the Witch of Uncia, which is the god that I picked. So it says wreathed. So
all of the like priests or people related to the gods are like in this immediately, which I thought was interesting. I was like, oh, cool.
There's at least one NPC for every god. So cool. Yeah. Wreathed in flowing garments and shaded under a wide-brimmed hat, often wreathed in smoke of unclear origin, speaks in riddle and idiom and laughs at their own jokes, commonly named. And I love there are names for these NPCs because, my God, I had so many Bobs. I was just like, fuck it, I don't care. You're talking to the NPC I didn't want you to talk to. Their name is fucking Bob. Guess what? This is Bob's friend Bob. Like, fuck off. Commonly named August, Spike, Min, Sunshine, or Cathar. And I really like this about the NPC too. So what they seek is the Sap of the World Tree, the Ancient Amber, and Eye of Newt, all three of which are treasures, and they have Absolution and Arrow of Truth and Vials of Poison, which are treasures. And I really like that little bit is thrown in there for you to just be like, oh, I need this thing from you. What can I get from them? Built in a really quick, easy way. Really, really cool.
Yeah. There's some great ones too. I mean, just coward.
Yeah.
It just, you heard death's calling, you ran. You're just a coward. You have tattered old armor. And it has a coward soul.
Yeah. And it seeks catnip. Oh, and this is is this the page? Yeah, this is the page right here, I think. Is this page 28? So yeah, like I was saying, this is the page. It's got this little mouse guy here, which is fucking adorable. I love the striped like coat that it's wearing. This page right here is the one that has the missing piece. That once again, like so fucking cool that they just saw an issue, fixed the issue, and sent it out.
I like the sticker fix, you know,
dude. It's such a good
fix
it a lot. because it's I'm not going to peel it off, but like it's clear, so you can literally just stick it right in the book. And it's so smart. Again, found the issue, fixed the issue in a relatively inexpensive, well, at least for us, because it was free way. And I just felt like that was such a good, I think a lot of people in Kickstarter would have just been like, oops, sorry, buy the next printing.
Totally. Dude, so often that happens, you know?
Yeah. I mean, it was crazy. You could even like print a signature on here and send it out to people, you know, that got that. But yeah, I love that was a fix that they did. Again, a lot of respect for people that respect the Kickstarter backers that funded their project. So I'm really, really glad and happy to see that was done. What do we? Even more NPCs. That's the thing. Tons of NPCs. The Weasel Blacksmith, the Raven of Death, the Mouse Hero.
Love the Mouse Hero that's on the last page.
And that's it. That's the fucking game. Like that's the whole game. And I really like that the back cover for whatever, like it's the same art as the front, but it's clean. Like it just has just the art on it, which I think is really cool.
Yeah.
No, it's a different set of cats.
But it's a wraparound. It's them all following death.
It does. Yeah. That's so cool. I love the cover for the adventure too is a full wraparound with the hex map right on the cover, which is really, really great. Again, we're not going to go over the adventure, but I'm just going to show it to people real quick. We'll just flip through. Look how, again, same art style. Look how beautiful the ship is on the front cover there. So there's a Viking ship on the front cover. And again, it wraps onto the back cover. It has a hex map on the back, which is really fantastic. I like this little guy too with like the scar on his eye. But really fun adventure. Again, like it walks it through pretty well. It's definitely it's hex map style. It's definitely descriptive. It doesn't feel it's a good adventure. It doesn't feel super like railroady or anything. It's more definition. There's not a whole lot of like, if they do this, you should do that, and then they'll do this. And if the really cunning ones, it's more of just like, here are things. If they find things, here this. But one of the things I really love too about the adventure, every time you go to a new spot, one of the most important parts, they have this section here where it says like feel, hear, see in different areas. So really descriptive for each area you go into. Yeah. And more important, every new location has a what can you kill here, and what can kill you here.
I mean, that's right off the bat.
So the whole game is pretty much just kill stuff. So yeah, this is fantastic. And that's 9 Lives Valhalla. That's one of the shortest reviews we ever did for a really, really fantastic game.
Yeah, I mean, its brevity is its strength, you know.
Yeah, one of its many strengths, I think. Yeah, for sure.
One of its many, absolutely.
So let's just hop into the reviews. And thank you so much for the follow, Keegan. Our chat, just throwing this out, we don't really, so we record this for podcast and YouTube, so we don't really address chat a lot, at least verbally, even more text into it. But man, a lot of great people in chat tonight. We really appreciate it. Kristen Sorrell, Keegan, and the people from Gym Room. So thank you so much for being here. We really appreciate it. So for those that don't know, we do these deep dive reviews, and then we do give scores. We have a different metric for zines versus books, because it wouldn't really be fair to compare this to, like, I don't know, Apocalypse World or something, 200 plus page book, when this is a 28 page zine, right? And we do review projects as a whole. That's why more often than not, we really wait to try to get a printed project, so that we can review like how it was printed and all that kind of stuff, and actually review the entire thing, not just the words in the page. So for zines, we have 3 metrics. For regular books, we have 5. We're doing it as a zine, obviously. So for this, we decided on visuals, rule set, and vibes as 3 scores. They get a total metric of 10. Visuals are the visuals of the entire project, beginning to end. In a regular book review, it's split more on like layout, art, and stuff like that. This is the visuals entirely. Layout, art, style, quality, quantity, all of that stuff. Rule set obviously is the rule set. If it's an adapted rule set, how well is it adapted? If it's a new rule set, do we like it? Is it good? And vibes are kind of like a catch-all, originality, art style. It really comes down to, and how I really view it in my head, is how bad do you want to play this game once you close the back cover? That's the vibes. And does the art build into the vibes? Does the rules build into the vibes? Yeah. Is there any part that just like kills the vibes for you, where you just go, man, that part right there really makes me not want to play this game? That's what we go for this. So visually, I mean, my goodness, what are your thoughts?
Oh, I mean, this is gonna have to be one of our highest ranked zines visual.
Yeah, well, it has to be. Yeah.
I mean, I don't know if we're ever going to do better in a zine than this. I think, okay, it's really, really good. This is speaking of zines, actually, you know what? I'm going to look. What are you thinking?
Oh gosh. I mean, here's the thing. The art, shit ton of art the entire way through. Just a ton. The layout is fantastic. The font choice is good. It's clean. It's super readable. I love that they didn't go with like 2 columns. Very rarely do you get a page like this where there's like text on both sides. More often than not, it's broken up with a one whole page as art. And even when it is across 2 pages, there's still a piece of art on it. So visually, it's really appealing. It really keeps your eye moving forward. The art itself is really fantastic. There's a ton of it. I mean, as far as a zine goes, this is what you want in a zine. This is what you want in a zine. It's super clean. It's and I just can't get the art style is so
Give me
perfect.
a number. Throw a number for me.
It's perfect. Did you hear me say that? Did you get that?
Yeah. I got it.
It's
Perfect.
a pun. It's a pun.
P-U-R-R. Yeah, I got it. Oh, absolutely.
Right.
I heard you.
All right. So, gosh, it's probably at least a 9 for me. Like at least
it's at least a 9 for me. It's also like, speaking of visuals, it's incredibly readable. Like at no point in time do they allow the art to make it less readable, which is a complaint I've had about other zines with a lot of art that were really good. But very readable. None of the text feels cramped. It doesn't feel like there's walls of text. I mean, there's definitely like some writing in this, but like it's broken up really well. At no point in time does it feel like a chore to read it. So
that's the thing. That's what's different than this and than a zine for say something else. I got a 9 is like I'm pretty sure that Below Dwelling Sewer Mutants, right? I don't know if that one got a 9. I know for vibes is really high. But one of the things about readability is they never put like the text is always black on a white background. So it's never over stuff. And for like an art zine, like I also love the shit out of that. If the text becomes part of the art and like all this stuff, totally. I love that too. Right. But that isn't better or worse than just having the incredibly readable text next to a shitload of art. And clearly they weren't worried about page count when they put like 30 pages, like 3/4 of this book is like just art. The whole page is art without any words on it. So
9.
Yeah, easy 9. I mean, to go to a 10, I don't know. Need a little something extra. But 9 easy, I think. So, rule set. There's like one rule, but I love it.
There really is. There's one rule, you know?
Yeah. I mean, you have attributes, you know, you pick a god. The god gives you 4 dice to use as a standard array. Every time you roll at least 2 of those dice because you have to roll 2 attributes together. And the whole game is about glorious death and killing to get to Valhalla, and the only real rule in the game is every time you roll dice, something has to die. You can't get much lighter and better than that, to be completely honest.
I mean, it has everything I need in it. Like it's weirdly perfect. Like there are blessings that increase like the dice size, and it's incredibly simple. I'm just not sure how to rate something like this because I don't want anything more. Like I don't. This is great where it's at.
So here's the thing. Like objectively, on its own
perfect.
merits, standing on its own, it's great. In the context of zines that have done a lot more, and although I think it's perfect in its simplicity, I do think games we've also seen games that are near perfect with more. So like, you know, it's one of those things like how do you rate something that has what amounts to one rule versus something that has like a whole rule set in a zine that has much more in it, but like
I guess it really is how good is that one rule.
Yeah,
you know,
it's perfect for what this game is. That's the thing.
9.
I was thinking I'm between like an 8 and a 9 just for that simple thing. It's just like we've read some zine games that are like fucking good, you know what I mean, that have a lot more to it. So I think that to me is what would drop it down. I mean, it's perfect for what it is in and of itself.
For me, it's a 9. I'll let you make the call though. So there's just nothing else I want in this. Like I don't want to. We go through stuff all the time. I'm like, I would add this or I wouldn't do that. I wouldn't add anything to this. We'd be like, other than like maybe adding blessings as we go that are relevant to the table that I'm running and the narrative going on there, but that's part of the game. Like there's nothing I'd add to this.
So here's my argument. Bloodbeam Badlands got a 9. Okay. It's also perfect for what it is and has much more. You know what I mean? That's my thing. I think it's perfect in a bubble. I think this is a super high score. Contextually with everything else, which is generally how we review scores, I just, you know what I mean? That's where I'm at.
No, you make the call. I'm still a 9 for this one. I won't die if it's if it's an 8, but I just like, yeah, Bloodbeam Badlands has more rules. A lot of games have more rules and less rules than other games we look at. But I'm just saying, like, this rule is great. I mean, and there's smaller things that go into this one rule, but like, I enjoy this thoroughly on its own and compared to other things. I would just have other experiences, you know? So this is still a 9 for me. Don't let chat bully you, you know? Don't let chat be
Listen, I'm not gonna let chat bully me. I'm actually not gonna let chat. I'm just, what I'm saying is, like, I think Bloodbeam Badlands, for the exact same reason, is perfect for all that it is.
Yeah, but I remember playing that and be like, oh, I would do that, or I wouldn't do that, or I'd take, like, there was something in there that I was like, I would house rule that. And there's nothing in this that I would house rule. I'd play this thing all the way out, you know?
All right, I'm not gonna let chat bully me, but I'm gonna let you bully me.
Right. Yeah.
Vibes. I mean, I think we're on the same page on this. I don't even think we need to. I don't think we really need to. I mean, what do you think? This is gonna be
our highest rated zine. You know.
What do you think?
Oh, it's an. I'm saying it's a 10. You know, 9 or 10 for vibes. Yeah,
it's a 10. I mean,
10,
yeah, it's
perfect.
a 10 easy.
Yeah.
It's 10 easy.
We didn't get to finish going through this before. I'm just like, fuck, I want to play this so bad. Like, it's such a, like, it's funny, and I love really engineered rule sets with like a lot of like choice design and like a lot of like mechanics that go into it to make this like really full, well-rounded experience. But goddamn, do I love a game that's just like, no, anytime you roll dice, something has to die. Fuck everything else. Nothing else matters. Your cats. Like, that's it. This is all of it. And you're just like, oh, that's brilliant.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I agree. I agree. This is a damn near perfect game zine.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, it's like you said, it's got the literal exact amount of rules you need. It's got more than enough of all of everything else you need, like 20 plus blessings, 20 plus NPCs, all the treasures you need. It's got an intro adventure that's also gorgeous, that is written in a way for both death and for players to understand really, really easily. The art's fantastic. The quality is fantastic. And you know what? Like, even just this bit here, this little bit here, like, we would need to find some way to give a bonus point for this.
I really do like that fix. It is like, it's so charming, you know?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I'll say this. There are Kickstarters that I've backed. Okay, let me start that over. If you have a Kickstarter that funds and then you hop on any social media and just start talking shit about your Kickstarter backers, you're a piece of shit. And the opposite of that is a mistake being found in your book, and at their own expense, the Kickstarter creators finding a solution, getting it out to you, getting it in your hands, with an apology and a thank you, and that is fantastic to see. So Gym Room Games, a lot of respect, a lot of love. They make great stuff, and seem like fantastic people. And yeah, that is 9 lives to Valhalla. It is damn near perfect, isn't it?
It is really, really good. It's really very good.
For what it is.
Yeah, and I love very, very lightweight games and zines. Like, I really do. It's like very much what I'm into. And this is like, it's so funny, like, working on games, reading other games, and like myself, like, writing a thing and thinking so hard about it. And then someone comes out with a game, it's like, there's one rule and that's it. And you're just like, fuck, it's so good.
And that's the thing too.
I'm sitting here feeling so dumb. I can't get the game to work. And it's like, yeah, there's one rule. It's like, fuck you. This is
just one rule.
Yeah.
And that's the thing. Like you said, like, for in and of itself, like, it's perfect. It's the perfect rule for this game. Like, you could make this game 150 pages. You could make a game of Viking metal, death metal cats, 150 pages. but they didn't. Like, honestly, if you just put the rules down with no art, this game is like 5-6 pages long.
Right.
Yeah. But yeah, it's damn near perfect. There's not much more you could ask for Beyond here. You know, we would have to see something and it would blow our mind, and that's what would give it a 10.
So,
but that
28 though, that's.
Oh, I forgot that's the thing that we do.
Yeah, you have to add them all together. But 28, I mean, that's
we're never
gonna highest
gonna
zine score, right?
Easily, unquestionably.
Yeah.
Like, it's not even, I don't even need to look it up. I think the next closest thing that we have was Below Dwelling Sewer Mutants. Because visually fantastic, vibes through the roof. Again, a really, really light rule set. Not a game for everybody, because it is kind of like you're in the sewer and there's like gross shit in it.
Yeah.
For us though, like, I'll take it all fucking day. But gosh, I don't even remember what did that got a 26. So this is unquestionably the highest rated zine that we've ever looked at.
Cool.
And honestly, so fucking deserved. So smart,
Absolutely.
so clever, so well done. Art fantastic. Gym Room Games fucking killed it. You guys are great. That's it. That's our episode. I think it's like the shortest episode we've ever done.
Yeah, it is. And I would like to say that tentatively right now on our schedule, if you were interested in more Gym Room games, because I'm still very excited to talk about another one, we're going to talk about I think it's on December 3rd. We're going to talk about High Magic Low Lives.
Yes. Yes.
But next Sunday, we're talking about Apocalypse World.
Oh shit! I forgot we're doing
Which is going to be a much different episode from this.
Oh boy!
And I have a feeling that I'm going to enjoy that episode just a little less than this. But it'll be really interesting to go through Apocalypse World.
Yeah, it's going to be. It is definitely going to be quite interesting. We'll see how that goes. Here's the thing. I'm not saying it. We're done. Definitely go check out Gym Room Games. You can find all their stuff in the liner notes. If you're listening on podcast or if you are on YouTube, you will find links to both their H page and to their website. Definitely go check out all of the stuff. Just search Gym Room Games on anything. Again, fantastic stuff. Seem like great people. That is it. Again, thank you everyone for being here in chat. Aaron motherfucking King, Christian Sorrell, Keegan, the Gym Room people, Van Davis. Appreciate all you guys. You can find all of our socials at our link tree at The Weekly Scroll. We got some fun, interesting stuff coming up for you until the end of the year, and we will be doing another year in review. So check that out, and Hunter, I will see you later, and bye everybody.
Bye.